So our first speaker, we have one presentation. Let's welcome Ed Metz. He's the program manager at the U.S. Department of Education Institute of Education, and he will present a talk on innovation, education, technology from the U.S. Department of Education. Hi, Ed.
Hey, thanks so much, Bev, and great to see so many familiar faces on the screen here.
Sure. Cool.
Great. So how's it going so far today?
It's been incredible. Well, today's only 15 minutes, but we've had an incredible 3 days already.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm joining the party really late.
It's okay. Yeah.
Thanks for all the the conversations before this. Given that I'm arriving right now, I figured I'll just provide an overview of some of our most emerging technologies out of the Small Business Innovation Research Program at the Department of Education. And let me pull up my my slides here. Great. Okay. So I wasn't sure who would be familiar with the Small Business Innovation Research Program.
Yeah, that's perfect for us. Yeah. Exactly.
At the Department of Education. NSF has a great program as well, as do some other agencies. But today I figured why not pull out some of the latest AI projects, kind of present those to you, which might lead to some Q&A or some discussion across the group. So just in case you're not already familiar, the Department of Education's SBIR program, it's required by Congress. We're required to spend 3.4% of our extramural budget on this program. That equates to $13 million per year, with phase 1 and phase 2 awards making it to $1.25 million for a for-profit developer to create a game-changing ed tech product. And the two-year and 8-month SBIR project is a whirlwind. It focuses on high-tech R&D, heavy emphasis, of course, then on research informing development, but also pilot research to demonstrate the feasibility, usability, and promise of the fully developed product to be leading to those intended outcomes. In the case of like an AI project, we would also want to see validity, reliability studies done to demonstrate the internal mechanisms of the engine are working as planned. And then, of course, if you're not familiar, SBIR has a big focus on commercialization, so that once products are developed through the pipeline, there's a plan to disseminate it at a wide scale and to sustain it many times through revenue, so that our investments can make it into practice and keep that long-term impact going. So I've been doing this for 18 years, and I've seen hundreds of projects funded. Most of them end up as a fully developed product that's functioning, and a large percentage end up as a commercially viable, scalable product. So dozens of these products are in wide-scale use by millions of students and educators for in-school and remote learning every year. And the models that we're seeing, a lot of these developers enter into agreements with school systems or districts. A lot of them have licensing agreements, partnerships. We've had recent companies be acquired, and many have raised a round of VC funding in order to scale. Not noted here, we have a lot of projects also coming back to the Institute of Education Science to conduct larger scale efficacy trials to evaluate them at scale. And a lot of these developers are doing small scale studies as they go, obviously to collect user feedback and understand how well their products are being used, but also to test for learning outcomes. So that's my intro. Oh, here's our news page. Check that out. I just updated it last week. A lot of great stories. It tells the kind of the real story about what our projects are doing. We've just had Learning Ovations was acquired by Scholastic last month. We have a company, Pocket Lab, that's had some exciting agreements. Check that out there. So today, in my 15 minutes, which is probably down to about 8 minutes, let me check my clock. It looks like I'm about 5 minutes in. I wanted to tell you about what's been going on the last 2 years. Not surprisingly, the last 2 years, more than half of all projects funded through the IES SBIR program have been for the development of an education technology product with an AI engine front and center. AI plus machine learning or natural language processing. And I thought I'd run through some quick examples for you and then open up the floor. Start with Picto Word School. And for those of you, there's an app called QApps, and QApps is has been downloaded. Like, actually, the name of the app is Picto Word, and our project is funded Picto Word School. Picto Word has been downloaded like some crazy amount, like 40 million times. It's a mind-boggling number of downloads. And this company, QApps, applied to our program to develop an AI engine that would personalize English learners acquiring new vocabulary. So it's a picture-based word game, as you could probably guess. And the AI, it tailors the pictures that the students are given based on their level of vocabulary. And it also presents the data back to the educator in the school format to further instruction. But it's a fun game if you download the regular version, and the school-based version is what we're funding. Okay, here we go. Next, we have Inkits by Apprentice and Rutgers University. And some of you might be familiar with this. I think it's been NSF funded as well. And this is the really exciting example of a performance-based assessment that uses artificial intelligence to continually assess and scaffold learning and adjust the activities that students are doing and providing feedback to the educator. Performance-based assessments are so exciting because students are engaged in real tasks. And to have an AI engine then to scaffold that is really exciting. I provided a quote there from Janice about how exciting this is from the point of view of providing anywhere, anytime learning that really can democratize learning and giving students that individual support. Another project, Taylor AI by Pocket Lab. I put this one up there because students are doing hands-on experiments with sensors. So physical sensors, doing science, physics, and motion experiments. And the AI that's embedded in the sensor is giving those students feedback on the dashboard, helping them do skill checks and informing their next moves in their physical science experiments. So it's not just AI embedded in like a virtual task. It's AI that can be used for a handheld experiment. Next is Captive Voice by CharmTech. This is a performance-based reading assessment. And what's neat about the artificial intelligence here is it's really zeroing in on the specific areas that students have gaps in their reading comprehension. So it's figuring out what areas they don't have, they're doing well, and then it's zeroing in on areas they have gaps. So it's actually saving students a lot of time doing assessments, getting those results to educators to inform next instruction or intervention. Captive Voice is also partnering with some established content providers to then provide further assistance. I wanted to provide this example here to show that AI is also being embedded in virtual reality projects. Beach Day is a coding game, and it's embedded the AI to guide students' progress as they go. A couple more here to go. Moby Read and Skill Check by Analytic Measures. And this one is using natural language processing. Students read a passage out loud into their iPad, and the natural language processing in real time assesses their prosody, word count, and comprehension for that passage, gives the students that information immediately, gives it to educators. This obviously saves educators a ton of time not having to use a rubric to individually assess students' oral reading fluency. This product actually was acquired by Google in April. And Google's using it and is integrating it into their suite. Two more examples here. LoomView by Kings Peak is a project that was funded last year, and it's using what's called a dig, lot, weave model, which is really neat to see it. I'm sorry I didn't put a screenshot up for you. Essentially, the English learners are reading a passage in their native language, and as they acquire language in English, the paragraph begins to shift into English, in theory, up until mastery. So this is a really exciting model because it moves with the students as they go, and eventually when it's developed and they can read any content that they're interested in, it could, that could really engage learners as they go. And finally here, we have a tool, assistive technology for children who are blind or visually impaired. It's an actual hardware system. It's a cane that helps those students learn to walk. And with that existed prior to the SBIR project. The SBIR project has funded an artificial intelligence machine learning engine that's going to capture student movement and provide that feedback back to practitioners and parents about how students are doing with prompts, how to support walking. As the model gets more robust, it will over time be able to generate stronger cues. So just a couple summary points here, probably themes you've been talking about in great detail about the kind of the promise of AI embedded engines in these technologies. They do provide anywhere, anytime personalized learning for all students who have that internet connection and a device. Meaning, for all students, I mean that scaffolding and feedback can be given anywhere, anytime. The performance-based assessments provide a really exciting way forward to reduce testing time and help students get to mastery. Obviously, we have dashboards that are coming with the AI systems that help educators inform instruction. The time savings is really, really exciting. I'm looking forward to studies to show that how much time it saves educators and students, especially in those performance-based assessments. And then the last thing is just really interesting to see that it's not just AI embedded in your traditional sort of virtual tasks or exercises, but for hands-on VR learning or even for an assistive technology. So that's it for me. I went through a whirlwind. I could have probably done 20 projects, but I stopped at 8 because I knew the audience would get my points very quickly. Please, let's connect. My email's there, social media, and then these 3 pictures, I put them up there when I present. They're from an event called the Ed Games Expo that we have at the Kennedy Center most years. We're going to get it back in 23. And they just showing the power of these technologies to really kind of create that powerful learning experience. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks. We have questions. I certainly do, Ed. Thank you. That's outrageous that you said half of the IES projects are ed tech and are with AI.
SBIR, not all of
half
IES.
of the
That would be
SBIR.
that would be news. That would make news I don't want to make.
No, that's for sure. So it's the SBI, half of the SBI, more than half, you said. Okay.
More than half, yeah.
Now, so I have a question. One is on the last one you just mentioned, the LoomView number 7.
Yeah, LoomView.
Does the paragraph start in the language of the child and then move to English? Is that what you said? So the words
correct,
just transmorph into English? That's amazing. And that
it's I'm sorry I have more information on that one. I do have the information, but I don't have it at my fingertips. But that is what's happening. Yes.
Okay, and then number 6, you said students read out loud and it has the word count and all, and you said it's acquired by Google. Is that a benefit? Is the person who wrote the product still involved, I wonder, or is it just
Yes.
taken over?
Yeah, Jared Bernstein now is an employee at Google, and he just talked to him last week. Talked to him frequently. He wouldn't have had it go to Google unless he knew it was going to live on, and he's there to help it get where it needs to be.
And his only job is to work on that system, you think? Or
yeah, he's a senior. He's been around for this is his final go around, so he's there to make it happen.
And we have a question from Robbie Robson. What do we need to get these effective technologies adopted in the same quantities as textbooks?
Oh my gosh.
We just noticed that 70% of the budget of schools is still going to text. So go ahead.
That I work in the government, so I'm excited about the promise of a lot of these technologies, and how to have a transformative change in education to get these and every other technology that is effective and research-based in the hands of students to kind of be game changers is something I'm hoping is going to happen in certainly the span of my career. And I would love to talk to you offline to share kind of my thoughts on that a little bit more.
But so are you saying that they are not being accepted and you're pushing them? Or
oh no, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I think if you talk to every developer, I think you'd learn stories about how they're being adopted, in what case they're replacing textbooks, what needs to happen in a school to modernize. I think it's a case-by-case basis. I think it's a really exciting topic. I don't really have specific thoughts at this moment.
Right. Okay.
I see something about I don't think they are proven yet.
Yeah,
that's correct. I mean, these, SBIR is really an incubator for new innovation, and we do require research throughout the projects. We require that they do pilot studies to evaluate the promise, and we've had now about 6 projects graduate SBIR and then be funded for efficacy trials at IES, and several more at EIR, Department of Ed, and NSF. I wish they would all do that, and I think that's a fantastic model for our program. But yeah, more research is always needed, and even the ones that have efficacy trials, ongoing research is crucial.
Yeah. Good. Any other questions from anyone? Wow. So the assistive technology is very exciting. You didn't indicate, were there sensors in the canes that are out in the front?
Yeah, no, there's a sensor on a smart belt, and it measures children as their sort of walk and their pace and their flow. It's not inside the cane, as far as I remember, but really, really excited about that one. And then we have another assistive technology by a company called Alchemy that is an augmented reality physical molecular modeling kit that blind and visually impaired students can now do molecular modeling, because the technology gives audio augmented reality cues as they move. So it's just kind of using AR in a way that we hadn't thought of, and that one's algorithm based as well.
Wow. Okay. And for these that have AI, what would you say is the timeline from, say, funding from an SBIR to classroom use?
It's the projects are 2 years and 8 months across the board, and I think a lot of the projects now in the second year actually finishing up the end of phase 2 in the next 6 months to 9 months I believe they're optimizing their models. They're collecting more data to sharpen it, and they're conducting those studies to sort of validate that it's working as intended. The the project with the oral reading fluency was fully developed already. And, that was like a 20-year project because it started as a NAEP. It started as a NAEP assessment for 10 years. And then it started as an SBIR project 7 years ago. And then they got a second SBIR project to provide more granular level ORF data. So it's not, that's one of our best, and it took a long time.
So you're saying you sometimes get them having had 20 years of experience, but probably do you get just a design when nothing has been implemented?
Yeah. It's a mix. Some of them have already developed a ed tech product, and then they're embedding that AI engine in, like the QApps one. That's why I gave that example. Others, like the Inkits by Apprentice and Janice Gobert. That one's been around for 10 plus years, and they've been adding pieces of the project. Which ones are brand new? And let's see, LoomView is kind of like a university research project. I think it was someone's dissertation. That one really is kind of really from the ground up during SBIR, basically. It's an initial model.
So that's exciting that SBIR can accept something that's a design and hasn't been tested already in the classroom.
We're NSF and Department of Ed. I mean, I think we all love the idea of like a novel, game-changing idea, and then the high risk, high reward, project that we could invest in. That's fantastic if we can get those types of applications.
Okay, that's the word on the street.
Well, one more note for your group here, because I know a lot of great researchers are here. We this year we have what's called a direct to phase 2 program. We offered it last year too, but we're bringing it back. And this program will fund academic researchers to move your evidence research into commercially viable products. It's kind of the same setup. A for-profit small business has to be the lead applicant, but if you have evidence-based research and you know of a developer to partner with, it could just be an opportunity to get that evidence-based research into a product development. We don't have an STTR program at Department of Ed. We're too small for that, but this program really is zeroing in on supporting academic researchers in having that research end up as a product that could have that impact that we're all hoping for.
This is great. So this is one more question. All right. Rob Robinson, he asked do you have STTR, but you just answered. So the STTR is the direct translation from academia to a product, to a company, whereas SBIR is from a company.
Yeah, it's designed to be a little more accommodating for an academic researcher, for an institution to partner with a developer. I see one more question about protecting learners' data, and is it an issue? Is it an issue for difficulties? That's it. I'm with you there. We all are, I think, who run these programs, and it's sort of a longer discussion, but I would love to talk offline about that one as well.
Okay. Right. So this direct phase that you're talking about?
Yeah, direct to phase 2. It's going to come out in January, and proposals will be due March. It's $1 million for 2 years. And just shoot me an email if you are interested in kind of learning more about that.
So to be clear, that is, again, it is focused on an academic, but it's an academic who partners with a company, is what you're saying, or no?
Yeah, it's focused on evidence-based research that came out of either an academic institution or a nonprofit organization. And the evidence-based research has been kind of sitting there as an intervention that the researcher may have been trying to move into schools at a larger scale, but have found it to be too challenging for one reason or another. So our program is looking to fund a new education technology product to move that evidence-based research to practice. Hopefully that came out
Do
clearly
you
for
do
everybody.
any pairing? Is there a way to help academics to find companies who will take their evidence-based product?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do
I
matchmaking?
I know a lot of developers, and I
Uh-huh.
could kind of brainstorm
Got it.
about that and find the right developer. Absolutely. Or it's an exciting time. There's a lot more collaborating, and I'm sure in your networks, the developers doing the type of work that you're looking to have
Right.
happen.
Cool. That's really great to know.
And
Okay.
Bev and I, we go back probably 15 years to your
Yes.
time at IES. So it's so
Yes.
great to see you again. And it's glad to get that email from you. It's
Yeah.
good. Once again, great to see so many great names on this
Yeah,
list.
actually, Michael brokered this.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for spending your time with us. And this is exciting. I'm really happy that you're doing this because
Yeah.
this is what we
Please
want.
follow up and look forward to updates. Maybe a year from now, I could do it again and tell you some results and give you guys a playlist with the. I actually have a lot of these in the video playlist, so I'll send that to you if you have questions.
Yeah, we are putting everything online, making everything available. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thanks everybody.